Mayor Jacobs?
Here.
Mr. Stratkoff?
Here.
Mr. Rodelius?
Here.
Madam Gutschall?
Here.
Mr. Leonard?
Here.
Mr. DiGiovanni?
Here.
Mr. Zupnik?
Here.
Mr. Travellini?
Here.
Ms. Patras?
Here.
And we'll just confirm for the record that Ms. Patras, now known as Ms. Orbono, has been sworn to the oath of office and is an official alternate member of the board. Also, adequate notice of this meeting of the Bedminster Township Land Use Board was filed with the Township Clerk and sent to the Burnsville News and the Courier News and to all subscribers and posted on the Township Municipal Building, at the Township Municipal Building, 1 Miller Lane, Bedminster, New Jersey, on January 11th, 2019. And the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we will proceed to the nominations. And the first nomination I will solicit is for the position of Chairman of the Board for 2020. Are there any nominations for Chairman?
I'll nominate Carol Gutschall. Second.
Second. Are there any other nominations? There being none, we will treat the motion as a motion to both nominate and appoint Ms. Gutschall as the chairwoman for 2020. Roll call, please.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Stratkoff?
Aye.
Mr. Rodelius?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. DiGiovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Zupnik?
Aye.
Mr. Travellini?
Aye.
Ms. Orabano?
Aye.
Chairwoman Gutschall?
Aye.
Now you take over, Madam Chair.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the rest.
I'm happy to do done that
You
part.
did such a good job.
No. You're the pro.
I'm the pro, no. Okay, so I think we need nominations now for our vice chair. Do I hear any motion?
Nominate Jeff Leonard.
Second that.
Any other nominations? Guess we close nominations and we can have a roll call.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Stratkoff?
Aye.
Mr. Rodelius?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. DiGiovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Zupnik?
Aye.
Mr. Travellini?
Aye.
Ms. Orabano? Aye. Chairwoman Gutschall?
Aye. We need an oath of office. Do we need that?
We confirm for the record that Ms. Orabano, formerly Patras, has signed the written oath of office and is a formal member as alternate of the board. There were no other oaths that I'm aware of.
Okay. I would just like to say one thing before we get started. Committee person, Mr. Hickey, has lost his father, and so we send our condolences, all of us. I understand Judy did send some flowers on our behalf, which was very nice of her to do that. So we miss him tonight, and he's an elderly gentleman, I guess, was in a home, but it's still your father.
Sure.
So we wish him all the best.
Yeah. Saw it in the paper, actually.
You saw it in the paper. I didn't get to see the paper.
It's on the internet, interweb.
Okay, so I guess we have some resolutions we need to pass. 2021, and that's for our professional services. I think we will need a nomination, but a
Motion to pass.
A motion.
Roll call?
Roll call.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Stratkoff?
Aye.
Mr. Rodelius?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. DiGiovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Zupnik?
Aye.
Mr. Travellini?
Aye.
Ms. Orabano?
Bless you.
Chairwoman Gutschall?
Aye. We have our second resolution for our meeting dates for this year. So we will need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Stratkoff?
Aye.
Mr. Rodelius?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. DiGiovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Zupnik?
Aye.
Mr. Travellini?
Aye.
Mr. Urbana?
Aye.
Chairwoman Gotcha.
Aye. We have minutes from December 12th? Yes, we do. Okay.
Resolution 3 we have.
Uh-huh.
Third resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip you. I'm just moving right along.
We better do Janine,
I
otherwise...
better do Janine or else we're in trouble.
Otherwise, she's here for public comment.
This is an important one, too.
Yes, it is.
Can't leave you.
So I need a motion for our secretary and our third resolution.
Moved.
Seconded.
Roll call.
Mayor Jacobs?
You see, there's...
Aye.
Mr. Straka?
Aye.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. DiGiovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Zupnik?
Aye.
Mr. Travellini?
An aye with emphasis.
Mr. Urbana? Aye. Chairwoman Gotcha.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, now we can go to our minutes.
I just have a question about number 3 on the resolution 2020-002.
Yeah,
I'm not understanding the annual sum of $30 for paper copies of minutes. It's an annual, take $30.
So if you want all the meeting minutes for the year, it's $30? Is that the deal?
Is that it?
I think so.
Seems to be what it says.
Probably
Well,
just...
$30 for each meeting seems a little excessive, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's an annual fee, so
Yeah.
you get the
So
12,
it's an annual-
you get 12 single pieces of paper
For the
the
year.
minute.
for
Sounds
your,
like a deal.
right, the minutes, but our minutes are not like, so maybe they're,
So you
Yeah, they are on the website.
$30 for, and you get,
In honesty, no one has ever come to me in the 6 months that I've been doing this to ask me for the minutes. Usually it's an over request, and usually we just tell them that they're on the website. So I don't even know that 3 is necessary, since they're on the website and they can
Probably a
print
little
it out.
outdated.
Probably
Probably.
updated. Probably.
Maybe we should make it
We
$300.
could have, we can have them
I
printed
will
on
tell you that in
2-ply paper
30 years,
that
I
have
don't
an
know
alternate
anybody who's
function.
ever requested any description of
That's
this.
funny.
yeah, I know, I never saw that.
Not that fast.
I never noticed it. Tell you the truth. All right. We need a motion for the minutes from December 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Lou, are you abstaining from that one? Is that elite? Yeah, for
Yeah.
December 12th.
Yeah, I was out, recused.
Just checking.
We were not there?
Mr. Straka?
Approved?
Mr. Rodriguez?
Approved.
Mr. Leonard? Mr. Zupnik?
Approved.
Mr. Travellini?
Approved.
Oh, I like this game.
Mr. Urbana?
approved.
Chairwoman Gotcha.
Aye. I gotta break the cycle. All right, where are we? Looks like we're maybe on to page 2.
Don't have anything yet for completeness, but we have a couple of pending ones. We have a site plan application for the USET for a barn. I anticipate that will be heard in March because they can't be here in February. So we'll set the date of that in the future. And then, under the Board of Adjustment pending applications, we also have an application for Putnam that has come in for a C variance for a garage. I have not reviewed that yet. There's a decent chance that could be a February hearing.
Okay.
Fairly simple application.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to the public. If anybody has anything to say that's not on the agenda.
Good evening, Brian Haggerty, Fairview Drive. Congratulations, everybody.
And although I am now once again a member of the Board of Education, I'm not representing the Board of Education. I did have a few questions. I actually brought these to the town committee, and the mayor said that was a planning board issue. So I said I'd see you another evening in this venue, and here I am. I'm looking at the third round housing element and fair share plan, June 7, 2018. It was around the same time that the zoning study is coming out. It's about a year and a half ago, give or take. Looking at the rental, family rental, 28 required to be provided, and 4 very low income units required for it to be provided. And I do the ratios of the 15% on any new development, and it looks like that's somewhere around 260 to 280 units. And would that be generally correct? And I know I was told there was a subcommittee working on rezoning proposals. I see in the news, Fire Hills is doing some rezoning stuff. Burns Township is arguing about overdevelopment. And I haven't seen anything in any of the minutes which are available online. Janine always probably responds to Oprah. But I don't know what's going on with this. We're about, I guess, a year and a half into the 3-year period. And in the meantime, there are applications coming for not following the VN zoning. So is this thing that's being worked on at this time, and when can we in the public expect to hear something?
Who wants to say?
I'll try to help, but let
Tom?
me just check. Yeah, it's not 187. So
Did I
the
misspeak?
first.
I meant 180. I meant 180.
Oh, you want to, you said
180.
260 to 280.
Oh.
So yes,
Something else.
generally speaking, 15% set aside to get to 28 units of rental would be 187 total units to provide a sufficient mandatory density bonus for the market units to subsidize the 28 low and moderate rentals. And so we still have a year and a half to be working on that. The phrase you used, I don't agree with, is nobody's doing anything to challenge the zoning. I don't quite, I don't want to, we can't talk about a pending application if that, and that you have some interest in, so we're not going to talk about a pending application, but we're going to say that this is a great housing element fair share plan for Bedminster Township. I think I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, it's one of the best settlements in the state of New Jersey. The township now has still another year and a half to identify and zone for the opportunity for the construction of the 28 affordable units. And I don't know how to help you more.
Mr. Collins, I do
but
recognize
that's not hard.
It's not totally completed. I recognize it's not the plan. But
Well, no, we have the plan, the housing element fair share plan is fully adopted, the settlement is fully in effect, we have judgment of compliance, which means we have protection against zoning challenges, so.
Okay,
So, I don't know where we're headed, but that's the
Where we're headed
status.
is that-
And the planning board will be working on that over the next year and a half, and they have until that 3-year period to adopt an ordinance or ordinances that make the opportunity possible. Okay.
And is any of that public, or is that all done?
It's all public, it will be done publicly, but, you know, I don't, if the subcommittee's had any discussions, it's kind of a working idea, it's not,
Right.
it's not,
Okay.
I mean, there's opportunities throughout the township, so, as we get closer to that, you know, if the subcommittee makes a recommendation, the board will be at a public meeting, and we'll be ready to be talking about it.
And the recommendations from this body go to the township committee for enacting changes in the...
They could, yeah, they could, and amendments to the master plan might take place, but also the committee the committee adopts the ordinances, the planning board only recommends ordinances. Okay.
Thank you.
My second topic is the tree ordinance. Chapter 12, soil movement and tree removal. I will refrain from commenting on an active application, but there have been several applications approved where they need a tree waiver. And if I could offer a professional opinion in New Jersey, give me, I'm registered in New York. I'm a civil engineer by degree. You've got a great township civil engineer. He's fantastic. But he's delegated with the responsibility to grant the waivers, rather than this body or the environmental commission making a recommendation and putting it like something to the township committee or part of the, similar to a variance. And there have been, how many, 3 in a row settled with tree waiver requirement. It's a very good ordinance. It's a very tough ordinance. And maybe it's so tough nobody can follow it, so therefore nobody has to follow it, and it's not even coming close. So I know the Environmental Commission expressed some interest in looking at it. It was Tim Walter who expressed that, so I don't know if that'll still have momentum with Tim moving to other volunteer opportunities and other job opportunities. But that's just something I'd like to keep in front of this board.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Madam, if I could talk about the tree ordinance.
Yes, please.
Just in the context of waivers. When waivers are required on site plan and subdivision applications, well, what the ordinance says, it's delegated to me. The decision is always made by the board. I pointed out in my letter, the board decides whether or not to grant that
Right.
waiver.
We approve the
The
waiver.
only time that I deal with it is on individual lots,
Right.
residential lots, when they come in.
Right. Yeah, we do approve the waiver.
And I thank you all for those clarifications. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. In fact, I didn't have any questions for you. I'm sorry.
I was impressed that you were allowed out alone.
My significant other wouldn't come with me. It's on tape. Thank you.
Anyone else? We'll close the public. I'll open it up to the board. If anybody has any comments that they would like to make
I would just
from the board.
like to congratulate the mayor for his reappointment.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah?
I have a question or a comment.
Yes.
It may not be the appropriate time or board, but I've noticed a lot more of these kind of poster signboards being put up in front of businesses throughout town. And in the past, I know that you could get a permit to have that, the kind of stick in the ground that says, name of the business or whatever. And in the past, you could get a permit to do that, but that permit required you to take it in each night and bring it back out each night. There's a few businesses and some signs that have people that are not in town that don't have businesses in town. And I just wanted to know if anyone's discussed this with the zoning officer, if he's aware of it, if there's something being done about it.
I can tell you that effective at the reorganization meeting, we have a new zoning officer in town. I've been working with him on this. One of his top things on his list is to deal with signs. We've talked about it a couple of times, and we will be dealing with it.
So it's on the radar?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else on the board? I'd just like to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and I'm very thankful for this board. We've had continuity now for quite a while, for a couple of years, which is very nice to have the same board members. And I feel that everybody's very dedicated. Everybody shows up. We have very low absentee records. We're good that way. And everybody's very dedicated to Bedminster and to the board. So I want to thank every one of you, each one of you. Thank you for your time and your efforts and your preparation. You all prepare very well as well. So thank you again.
Thank
So,
you, Madam Chair.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone? No? Okay.
I would like to thank everyone for my reappointment. I
Oh.
appreciate it very much. As it always said, that we all appreciate it.
I would like to thank you for Tom's reappointment.
Frankly, I would
How
like to
professional.
thank you for Frank's reappointment. He makes me feel young because he's been here longer than I have. Although this year marks more than half of my lifetime.
Oh.
Working for Bed.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm still working on that.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Madam Chairman, I would just like to suggest or recommend that we make the work of some of our subcommittees a little bit more of a priority in 2020, so that some of the variances that we may end up having to consider going forward are a little bit more reflective of the intent and the will of the township as we go forward. If the will of the township is changing, great. If it's not changing, that's great too. But if we're trying to change with the times, I think some of those modifications and updates that we've been talking about for a while need to be made sooner rather than later.
Okay, well, I think we maybe need to have a committee meeting sooner than later.
The subcommittee meeting.
A subcommittee
Agreed.
meeting, yeah. So we'll, maybe we'll try to set a date on that.
Okay.
Again, okay. Good, Rich. Okay, I think we need to get on with our application. So next is the hearing for Vegas, I think. Do we sit here or?
Yes, and you may both be seated, and I'll swear in anyone who'll be testifying. So anybody who will be testifying can remain seated. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm? Anybody testifying? Okay.
If you're going to say something, you're testifying.
Oh, okay. If I have to say something.
At least one person has to testify. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And please state your names and addresses for the record.
Christina Villegas, 395 Cedar Ridge Road, Bedminster, New Jersey. Jacqueline Scheffler, 225 Cedar Ridge Road, Bedminster, New Jersey.
Thank you. And that's 395 and 225? Paul, any completeness items that we need to?
I think we dealt with this completeness the last time.
Okay.
And it was determined to be complete.
So, ladies, please go ahead and just describe the application and what you're proposing and why you would like the variance.
Well, so it's for an alteration of Christina's house to, I guess, add a full second floor to her house. She already has half of the second floor with low slope ceilings, and she needs to replace her roof anyway. It's kind of aged. And the back has a low shed roof, doesn't really shed water very well. So we'd like to add a regular, nicely pitched roof to make it look more like a traditional colonial that fits in with the town and the streetscape. So she just wants to be able to have a full second floor with a roof that works well.
And bigger closets.
Yeah.
It's an A-line roof, and a lot of the closets, when you open the doors, there's the roof. So it's kind of difficult to store things correctly.
And so, is the reason why Jacqueline is here to help you with this?
She's my architect.
She's your architect. So Jacqueline, why don't we have you explain your qualifications as an architect, and we'll have you qualified by the board, and then you get to be an expert tonight. So, are you a registered architect?
I'm a registered architect, yes.
And where did you go to school?
For my graduate degree, I went to NJIT.
Okay. And you've worked on these plans for the applicant, is that
Yes,
correct? Okay.
correct.
So Jacqueline, you are a registered architect in the state of New Jersey, correct?
Correct.
And how long have you been practicing?
I've been registered since 2017, but I've been in the field since 2001.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied that the applicant's architect is qualified to testify as an expert architect. If the board had any questions, we could ask those, but I'm satisfied. So, Ms. Villegas, what your architect explained, is that basically why you'd like to have the variance?
Yes, that's correct.
And if you were to, for now, this is for Jacqueline, if you were to go, if she doesn't go ahead and build, gets the variance, goes ahead and builds this the way that she's proposing, do you see any significant or substantial detrimental effects upon the neighbors?
No, I don't. I mean, it will change the volume of the house, but we're keeping in the tradition of the area, so it should fit nicely into the community.
And do you see any substantial impact, detrimental impact upon the zone plan or the neighborhood?
I do not, no.
Thank you.
I noticed in the back, there's a foundation in the back there,
Yes,
next to, that's still on that property, is that correct?
correct.
Can you explain what that is, or what that's?
That's going to be a detached barn garage. That's within the, setback requirements. So that was already approved.
That has a building permit, is that? Yes, that, okay. Board, any questions?
Can we just assume that the house predates the ordinance?
No question it does.
Okay.
Frank, Paul, in your memo, the second number one, it says the existing structure lies within the required setback, which is not so, isn't that right?
No, it does, it violates, by that I mean it violates the setback. It's in front of the
Oh,
setback.
lies within?
Within.
Oh, okay.
It's pre-existing.
And the footprint of the dwelling is not going to change, we're just going up, right?
Correct.
Is the existing house, I don't know how to say this, coming down before it goes back up? Or are you essentially just taking the roof off and adding the second floor?
It's from the second floor up.
So you're going to keep the foundation, you're going to keep the first floor walls to the extent you can, and build up from there. And as an architect, you're satisfied that the structure can withstand that change?
Correct.
It's platform construction, so there's no need to beef up the structure on the lower level.
The lower level is CMU, it's not blueprint.
What's that mean, CMU?
Concrete masonry unit.
Oh, the whole
Yeah.
wall
Yes.
of the first floor?
Yes.
That's unusual, isn't it?
Yes.
So, thank you.
But you're building a new floor, or you saving the existing floor? On the second floor?
The second floor, we are saving above the main house, above the garage, we have to rebuild it.
And the existing garage is becoming a family room?
Correct, yes.
You might be able to tell we have a few architects on the board. They knew what CMU was.
Well, in this case, it's very important.
Very helpful.
So it looks like you're adding all new windows and siding,
Correct.
and obviously a roof, new roof. Yeah.
Paul or Tom, can we get an explanation of the variance for this?
The reason why a variance is required is because since the house currently violates the front yard setback, even though they're just going up and it's not getting any closer, you're increasing the mass in that front yard. Therefore, you're increasing the non-conforming condition. So that's why the variance is required.
But we're not really going over the FAR for that zone?
Oh, no, not even close.
So it's just a C variance, C2 variance is the best way to characterize it.
For an existing condition, I mean, it's
Well, it
already...
is an existing condition, but when you raise the floor, that is changing the mass.
Could
and-
perhaps exacerbate a
That's-
condition, I see. I don't see it here, but okay.
If it, imagine that, this is not the case here, but if the house was actually very close to the lot line, and the neighboring house was very close to that lot line, the increase in mass at that location can actually shade the house on the adjacent lot. Not happening here, but that's partially why you see these cases.
Anyone else? Anyone else on the board have any questions? No?
The attic is going to stay mainly unfinished, looks like, according to this?
Correct, yeah, it's just the first floor.
No work in the basement, then?
Correct.
Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Come right up.
Brian Hagerty, Fairview Drive, West Windsor.
Mr. Hagerty, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Brian Haggerty, Haggerty. This application was advertised, right, and notified, and I'm the one here, and it's here for someone else. And this is Cedar Ridge Road, right, which is like, I've been on Cedar Ridge Road, it's beautiful, it's way back there. And if a previous owner had built this house 2 stories before the ordinance was changed, it would have been conforming at that time, right?
Correct.
Not exactly. Oh, before the
Before the
ordinance.
ordinance.
Okay, that's what, yes.
Okay. Isn't this just exactly what variance is made for, is, the law changed, but they're, I mean...
Yes, it can be.
I just exactly, not to editorialize on others, but... this is
Brian,
exactly
do you
what it is.
have any questions for the applicant? Or statements for the record?
Statement for the record is, as the only member of the public here, and I'm not even here for this, I don't see anything objectionable. As Mr. Travellini said, the mood of the town, what was that phrase you used, Rich?
Will.
The will. Will of the people. This is like, my statement is, it seems like a slam dunk to give. Thank you.
We're all about that.
I think it would be a definite improvement to the neighborhood, for sure, and I think it's no detriment whatsoever. That's my opinion. But, so, Tom, I think...
Madam Chair, the only thing
Oh,
that I would
sorry,
say,
yes.
Just in my letter, there were really only 2 things to be cognizant of.
Mhm.
The second one being the silt fence, just make sure that gets in before the project gets done. But I would like to see the plans redone with the signature blocks, so we get approved drawings. You'll need 6 sets of those brought in,
Okay.
and the chair and I and the secretary will sign those. So then we have record documents to file.
Okay, sure.
So,
I think we can draft a motion.
and would you like to be able to proceed to construction immediately, assuming everything else is, the permits are all obtained and all that?
Yes.
So, for the board members, it's a motion to approve the C variances as requested with the conditions discussed this evening and set forth in Paul's report and Frank's report, and it would be effective this evening, so they could proceed effective immediately, provided all other requirements are met. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second. And a roll call, please.
All in flavor.
Roll call.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Straka?
Aye.
Mr. Roselius?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. DeGiovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Zuppert?
Aye.
Mr. Travellini?
Aye.
Miss Orabana?
Aye.
Chairwoman Gotcha?
Aye. Motion approved. Congratulations.
Good luck.
And-
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep, enjoy. Thank you. So we have, do we have anything on for the first meeting in February?
No, the second meeting is elite right now. We don't, but it looks like we could have Putnam, USET, or Rylocate.
Well, USCT wanted to come in March.
Right, they couldn't make the first meeting.
Relocate is not going to be ready. I wouldn't anticipate them coming back very quickly because they have some issues they've got to deal with. Putnam potentially could be the first meeting in February. I will look at that and get word out by Monday, so we can deal with that properly. and make sure they get
Okay,
noticed.
yeah.
Paul,
they'll have
what's
to
what's
notice.
relocate? And it's listed under planning
Yeah,
board, but then it's got a BOA reference.
Yeah, it should be down below. It's
Okay.
it's an FAR variance.
Okay.
It's almost as bad.
Why they put erasers on pencils?
Pencil? What's a pencil?
It's a spacer, a delete sheet, never mind.
Okay, so our second meeting in February then will be elite, and we'll be notified whether we're going to meet the first Thursday. I think that's all we have, unless anybody else has anything else.
So the only thing that I want to put on is that I've been going back and forth with Somerset County Planning on follow-up to the, let's see, this is, great phrase, the priority investment growth area. If everyone remembers the presentation that Somerset County brought in their consulting experts when they
Oh, right.
identified 21 priority incentive growth areas in the county. The AT&T campus was one of those. They made a little presentation to us here. They've made similar presentations down in Somerville. As a follow-up to that presentation, there was discussions that I had directly with Somerset County about next steps and whether or not there were other opportunities to pursue some of the ideas that were floated out by the county. The county did apply for a planning grant, which ended up coming through the Highlands grant, and that was recently approved at the end of December. So this is a grant that's being issued not to Bedminster and not to the Bedminster Land Use Board, but to the county planning department. So the county planning department will be engaging a planning consultant to take what was discussed for the AT&T property and put perhaps a little bit more meat and look at planning opportunities. As part of that planning process, I would imagine discussions with both the property owner, the users of the property, as well as we'll make sure that the master plan subcommittee also gets an opportunity to have discussions directly with the county and the planning consultant that the county is or will be engaging.
Okay.
So there's I asked Janine to distribute this around, so this is just a notification to Walter Lane from the Highlands Council of the award of the grant. It's there's no obligation on the county, there's no obligation on the planning board, there's no obligation on the township committee to do anything with whatever recommendations may be made, but it's information, and I imagine both the master plan subcommittee and the land use board itself will find that information interesting. So,
And maybe helpful.
and maybe helpful. More information, right. And I will be meeting with Walter Lane actually tomorrow morning down at the county just to discuss what the next steps are in that planning process. So just a little update.
Mr. Mayor, do you know off the top of your head where AT&T is in their lease renewals? Are they due for another 5-year re-up soon? Or do they just?
Yes, they will be due for, I forget when the current lease expires, but it's within the next several years. It's not coming up this year, but it's coming up.
This is just rumor, but I'll share it with y'all. Rumor has it that there's maybe as much as 250,000 square feet going on the sublease market there.
That's amazing. That's really good.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm told by people privy to it that may be the case.
And there's also been discussion that several years ago, when they were going through the last lease renegotiation, that same concept may have been floated out.
So maybe they're
Trying to,
Just-
it's a
could just
negotiating
be a
tactic, if you can
strategy,
imagine
yes.
that.
Could just be a strategy. FYI to the whole group who went to the Bellworks project, when did we go, March last year?
That was a year ago, over a year.
It was more than a year ago?
Was it 18?
18.
Was it
Gotta be
really?
18 months
We
ago.
absolutely went.
Yeah, that sounds about
2018.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I was at the project about 6 weeks ago.
filled out. huh?
It's amazing. It's amazing how much traction they have. They're, the hotel on the top 2 floors may be complete at this point.
Wow.
It was moving forward. All those retail spaces that they bragged about on the first floor that didn't even have any windows now have windows. There's vitality and activity on the ground floor, making it, so much more vital as a result. Their rents have been ticking up. They're getting some of the highest rents in all of Monmouth County, probably the highest rents in all of Monmouth County right now.
They finished all the construction around the residential construction around it?
I don't know, I didn't take too close a look at that. I think they're having struggled to actually selling some of the $1 million homes.
Yeah, that's what my last recollection of that is that the single families that were going up were
Struggling.
selling very slowly.
And the
It's a tough
catering
niche all
hall.
over the state right now.
And the catering halls are vital.
Catering halls.
I know a couple people had weddings. Yeah, exactly.
Which was a nice venue.
Oh, the down below with the lake behind it,
Yeah.
that was a neat place. You could see the potential of it.
is
when
it-
we
is
were
that a
there.
new
I mean, it's
It was gonna work.
It's literally taken almost 10 years for them to get this kind of traction, but
Sounds like it was.
They got it, finally.
Pretty neat.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for the update.
So, that's it? Okay. All right, well, do I hear a motion to?
Oh, so moved.
Okay,
Second?
second, anybody? Okay.
Hasta la vista, baby.
You do? Okay.
I'm gonna get those Totino pizza bites.